It's the weekend. Perfect time to hire it done. Good morning, everyone. My name's Adam Helfman. I'm your host, home improvement expert, fourth generation contractor, and I'm here to help you get hassle-free home improvement. So today and every Saturday, we'll be talking about the critical topics related to your home and meeting some of the most influential and interesting people that are in our industry. All contractors, all experts, all people in the vertical of home improvement that want to help you get a hassle-free home improvement. That's what the show's all about. We're here to help you fix, repair, or remodel everything within the four corners of your lot. I'm not a do-it-yourself show. However, we talk do-it-yourself. I'm not anti-do-it-yourself. I just want to teach you to hire contractors. And everyone's going to go through some sort of home improvement. Everyone's going to need a handyman. Everyone's going to need a plumber, electrician at one point in their life. So why not be a little educated on what to get? Because listen, if every contractor was so good, we would have what I would say, no problems. You wouldn't need my business. But because Hire It Done is here, it's all about you, the homeowner, finding good contractors, getting good advice, figuring out why your home is so important. And that's what we do here. So today we have a lot of good guests showing up and lots of good information. The weather's finally changing. Spring is, a couple weeks away. But don't get all excited. We're going to get nailed by one more storm. It always happens. One more snow, one more something. It's just one of those things. We always get that. So be prepared for that. But today's show, I got some really good information. I've got John Cox from Prep Right Painting coming in. He's one of our painters. And we're going to talk about prepping for your paint job. Is the exterior paint work needed? When's the earliest you can start? How about interior paint? Trends in colors? Lots to talk about with that. And then we're going to have one of our attorneys in studio who's going to tell us tips on firing your contractor. And if you're a contractor, he's also going to give us tips on firing your homeowner. So I'm excited about that because, listen, people, we live in a litigious society. Everybody is sue happy. And how do you prevent that? How do you get a project that goes smooth? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's really planting the seeds of success early and having an attorney that understands that is going to help you. So we're going to be asking him some really good questions. Laws in home improvement have changed a little bit. And we're going to be talking about the 5 signs on your house that you need a new roof, whether or not you should tackle plumbing replacement by yourself, some home hacks today, and we got a lot more. But, of course, we always start the show off with our mailbag. That's right. If you ever have a question for me, you can always email me, adam@hireitdone.com. Go to hireitdone.com, click on Ask Adam. You can get a hold of us a lot of ways. And what we do is we answer tons and tons of questions every week. But if we like one of them and it seems like it's good to share with the audience, we always bring it on the radio show. So this is a question that came in, I don't even think, a couple of weeks ago, actually. Hi, Adam. I want to replace a ceiling fan with a normal light fixture in one of my rooms. Do I need to completely redo the wiring, or can I just use what's there? Okay, well, that's a good question. So he has a ceiling fan, and he wants to replace it with a light fixture. Now, normally, I would get the opposite question. Normally, a homeowner would say, hey, I have a light fixture, and I want to put a ceiling fan. So now I see this is the opposite. So you have a ceiling fan, you want to take it out, and you want to put a light fixture. So that's easier, okay? First of all, light fixtures have a bracket it's a universal bracket to hang your light fixture in. So typically you would think that that's okay. Now, if the ceiling fan, and it doesn't say this had a light and a fan, you have an extra wire. But basically you can wire up your light fixture the same way the ceiling fan was wired. Now, if there's a switch for the fan and a switch for the light separately, then you have something else that you have to worry about. So if you can't do it, clearly you can hire an electrician. I never recommend going on YouTube and figuring it out on YouTube because, everywhere is different in a house sometimes, but you never know. So that kind of thing is something that you can do yourself. However, if you want to hire it done, you can go to hireitdone.com, and we have really good electricians that will compete for your business. So it's pretty easy. So if you ever have a question, go to hireitdone.com, click on Ask Adam. During the show, if you wanted a question, comment, you can always text us, 97136. You can ask me a question during that, and we have the ticket text. We can always figure out how we can help you. If you want to watch the show this morning, you can see us on Facebook Live. Go to the 97.1 The Ticket Facebook page or the Hire It Done Facebook page, and you can watch us there. But, again, it's all about home improvement. That's the best thing. So click on Adam at hireitdone.com, and I'll be able to answer your questions. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, I'm going to give you signs that you might need a new roof. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. I hope you're having a great morning, everyone. It's going to be beautiful weather out today. The sun is out. I want everyone to go outside, take a look at their house. Just look for any damage from the winter. It's going to be nice. You're going to enjoy it, but then we're going to get bad weather again. It's just how it is in Michigan. We all get that way. Back in studio, Gary Shelley, Ron Garmo from Running Right Heating and Cooling. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us again.
So it's furnace season, as we know. Air conditioning season's coming up. A lot of technology changes in the last few years on furnaces. How important is it, Gary? You're out in the field a lot. You keep your finger on the pulse. I mean, I know when homeowners call, when you go to see a homeowner, we get feedback. Oh my God, this guy was like a professor. They love the fact that you just happen to know a little bit about everything when it comes to heating and cooling. How important is it, these Internet of Things or Wi-Fi thermostats, as it impacts the furnace today? What's so important about that?
Well, a lot of people like the technology. I guess I never thought that there would be a day where I could actually talk to my thermostat, but I can do that now. Do it on your phone. You can talk to them today. There's so many things you can take care of just without being in front of it today, and that's where the internet connections with the thermostats are really good. Setting temperatures, setting programs, up and down on the temperatures whenever you want. You come home a little early one day, and before you leave work or whatever, you can turn the temperature back up before you get there. Just so many things and it will monitor what's going on. It'll let you know if there's problems. And these newer thermostats can tell something's wrong, and it will notify you that there's a problem before you realize it.
So there's a lot of advantages. You leave your house 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work. You don't come home till 5. Do you really need to heat your house to 72 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.?
Usually the cutoff is what we've been told with the numbers and whatnot is about 6 hours. You have to have at least 6 to make it worthwhile because the recovery time on less than 6 hours doesn't really pay off. But if you're gone more than 6, then that's when you need to turn.
So if I leave at 8 to noon is 4 hours, and then noon to 5 is another 5. So 9 hours. I'm gone 9 hours. I like the house. Well, I like it cold, but let's just say it's 72. I can go down to 66. Right? That's
Absolutely.
8 degrees.
Yep.
And then at like 4:30, quarter to 5, have it ramp back up automatically just from the app, right?
Well, today, with all the new ones, years ago you had to anticipate that, but today it will do it. You tell it what time you want it at that new temperature, it will have it there. It figures out how long it takes to get it up there, and it'll be at that temperature when you get there. You don't have to do that ahead of time.
You can pre-program that whole thing.
Figures that all out itself. So.
And then if you're on vacation and you're like, oh, it's freezing at home, there's a cold spell, you can check the temperature in your house just to see. You can adjust up or down.
That's one of the big pluses when people leave town for a while and they don't know what's going on at home, and that thermostat will monitor that for you, and you can check it, make sure that the furnace is still working. In the middle of February and you're in Florida, that furnace goes down and nobody's checking the house, it could be devastating damage.
Okay, and that's the thing. Then you can set notifications. If the temperature changes, it'll notify you.
Absolutely.
Now, do you recommend, here's what I want to know. You guys are a Ruud dealer, right?
Yes.
So Ruud's a really good furnace. Does Root have their own thermostat that's Wi-Fi enabled?
We have what's called a communicating one now when you go into those, and that has Wi-Fi capabilities also. That's on our top-of-the-line furnace that has communicating one that will
It'll talk to your
air
furnace.
conditioner and the furnace actually talk to each other, the thermostat, and it figures out things, make sure everything's working properly.
Because a lot of people go to the Home Depots and the Lowe's and they go get the programmable, like the Nest. And you guys have no problem with the Nest thermostat. You can, if someone doesn't even know how to hook it up, you'll come. They can call you guys.
Yeah, we work with the Nest too, and because there's so many of those out there now, that's become one of the bigger brands. Ecobee is probably our main one.
Yeah,
that we
Ecobee's
like.
a good one.
The Emerson.
Welcome back. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman, home improvement expert. Winter's almost over. That's a good thing. And that means leak season has officially started for homeowners. You know, your roof takes a beating, obviously. You get roof leaks. We got basement leaks. Hopefully not too many floods out there, but it happens. And that's why we have great damage mitigation contractors here at Hired Done. But today I'm going to be focusing on some roof leaks. If you have a roof leak, there is a silver lining. Any Hired Done contractor and really any roofer worth their salt offers free roof inspections. So if you have curling shingles or, we're going to go through everything you need to look for. But if you have something wrong with your roof, go to hireddone.com. We'll send a roofer out. They'll call you. You just decide who you want to send out. Important thing to realize is that because you have a roof leak doesn't necessarily mean you need a new roof. However, there are telltale signs that a roof might need to be replaced. And let's figure out what those are and let's talk about them right now. If you have a question, always text me, 97136, or go to the Hired Done website. We have all kinds of good content for that. But let's see. Here are things you need to look for that may mean that you have signs of a bad roof. Okay, first of all, shingles that are curled, cracked, or absent. Pretty obvious. However, most homeowners don't, when they pull into their house, they don't look at their roof. They look at the whole overall picture. So there are indications that the shingles are nearing the end of their lifespan. Now that you may have lost a shingle or two from the wind or severe weather, maybe you just need a repair. I'm okay with repairing a roof if it's repaired properly, but typically older shingles are more susceptible to wind damage. So if you're missing shingles, you might need to get your roof checked out. I mean, yeah, you should, right? So that's one of the things. Now, what about the granules from your roof? When you start to see them in your downspouts and your gutters, that's the signs of your roof wearing away. Now, the granules are made to protect your roof, and it's part of the shingle. But as it wears away, in the rain, the wind, the severe weather, tree branches, whatever, scrapes them off, it starts to wear off. So that's why they shed their granules. And you can see that just from looking in your gutter. That's the number one thing. So that's a red flag, and that means that your roof is starting to wear away. Totally normal, but same time, how much is too much? Now, what about after a rainstorm? Do you have leaks in your attic? If the rain is getting into your attic, it may be simply a question of replacing some flashing. However, if the problem is porous underlayment, then you're probably going to need a new roof. Now, remember, when water goes into your attic, usually in your attic, you've got the underside of the roof, which is plywood. You have insulation. Then you've got the backside of the drywall. So a lot of water has to get in your roof before you even see it through the ceiling inside your house. But after a rainstorm, check out your attic and see if there's water dropping or dripping down, okay? That will have it be an issue for you. Now, what else? How about staining on your interior walls or ceilings? Or light fixtures, water around light fixtures. Water stains or discoloration on walls or ceilings can be caused by many different things, but your roof's underlayment may be allowing moisture into your home, which leads to the stains. A lot of times in the Midwest, which is where we're located, it's due to what we call ice damming. Or, if your roof is not properly ventilated, that's a big issue. And we can talk about ventilation in a minute. Looking at your roof from the outside, do you have giant, massive icicles? If not, you can try to find where the water's coming from. And that's what we want to make sure that you know. So what about roof, when you're looking at your roof from the street and it's sagging? If you notice the decking or your rafters in your attic are sagging downward instead of the remaining straight, They may be wet from leaking moisture. They may be from years and years of weight on them. But that's a big red flag as well. In fact, when you get a new roof, a lot of times they're going to replace a lot of plywood. So it's important that you understand how that works and how that goes. Now, what do you do when you have a contractor come out and you're not sure you need a new roof? And he says to you, oh my God, your roof's destroyed and this, that, and the other, right? It's a big, big red flag. So the question is, do you get another bid, another opinion? How do you trust the guy that's coming out? That's a big question because most homeowners have two fears. They fear that the contractor is going to overcharge them, and they fear that they're going to get ripped off. Two different things, but very similar. That's why Hired Done exists, because we're trying to give you hassle-free home improvement. So we pre-screen our contractors. We actually go out and check their work, right? Think about that. Tittle Brothers Construction, they're roofers. Kanga Roof, they're roofers. Peaks Construction, exterior experts. We have all the best roofers in Hired Done. So not only do you get a roof that doesn't leak, but you'll get honest opinions. And we don't allow any high-pressure sales. Yes, home improvement. They give you a great roof. Very knowledgeable, very, very, very good company. Roofing, siding, windows. If you want that done right, again, remember the best roof for your house is the one that's installed properly. Nobody wants to spend, the average roof today is over $10,000. Who wants to spend $10,000 on a roof and have it leak right away? That's why when you get a roof, they have to check your ventilation. They have to check the insulation. If your house is not ventilated properly, I'm talking about your roof, where soffit vents, ridge vents, the temperature on the outside of your roof and the temperature on the backside of your roof, inside your attic, we'd like to be equal. That's the best part. Now, everyone knows, you go in the attic, it's 180 degrees, right? Why is that? Well, heat rises and the attic cooks because it's not ventilated properly. But if you can get the backside of your shingles to be in the attic area, or the backside of the plywood, to be equal or close to the temperatures on the outside, guess what? Your roof's not going to cook like bacon from underneath. That's what bacon does. It curls up like your shingles. Shingles don't taste like bacon, though. That's a problem. But my point is, you need to understand that as a homeowner. Why go out and say, some guy says, we're just going to give you this shingle, this, da. If they don't explain to you what's ventilation, they don't explain to you what's right, what's wrong, and this and that, we got a problem, Houston. That's why it's important to find the right guy. And then, you got to ask the standard questions. How long is the job going to take? When am I in the schedule? What happens if there's a problem? What's the warranty? When do I pay you? A lot of roofers don't take any deposit. Pay me when the job's done. A roofing project is usually a one-day job, maybe two at the tops. But if you're adding other things, gutters, insulation, that's something you got to do. So, it's very important that you get it done right. That's why we lead the categories. We're obviously homeowners come to my website, hireitdone.com, for contractors. But what we do is the number one not do-it-yourself project is roofing. So if you want a roof that doesn't leak, you come to my website. You want a furnace that heats your house or air conditioner, you come to my website. You want a painter. That's what we got here. We do all that for you. Anyways, lots of stuff to talk about. And coming up next, Prep Right Painting. How to get the best paint job for your house. What are some of the color trends? Does one paint from like Sherwin-Williams, one from PPG, one from Home Depot, does it make a difference? Is there a difference in paint? Rust-Oleum spray paint? Did you ever try and spray paint your house? Well, we're going to find out and ask all those questions when we come back. I'm Adam Helfman, and you're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. It's going to be a nice day out today. You won't be putting the air conditioning on. However, the sun is going to be out. It's already coming up. I want everyone to enjoy today, by the way. So it's the middle of winter. Well, we're a month away from spring, but you know how that goes. We get that late February, March ice storms, and we still need heat. So joining me on the Higher Done Radio Show is the gentleman from Running Right Heating and Cooling, Gary Shelley. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Adam.
And Mr. Ron Garmo.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm awesome today. Thanks for coming in.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
So 2019's over. Good year for you guys?
Oh, yeah. It was a real good year. Busy.
Right? Always playing catch up.
That's it.
And then we run into 2020 and bam, it's another busy year and people are running around. So real quick, just as to let everyone know for Running Right Heating and Cooling, what are the popular heating cooling units, or what are people buying today?
A lot of IQ are. Go ahead, Gary, on that.
Well, right now we're promoting the high efficiency equipment, obviously, and
of course
and there are a lot of options with the new products that can help create or fix a lot of problems that you may have in the system today. A lot of the problems that we have over the years with rooms not heating or cooling properly, or with the duct system, but the newer equipment, rather than going in and trying to redo a lot of duct work, which is in the walls and not accessible, we can fix a lot of issues with a lot of the new equipment, the higher efficiency equipment today.
So when someone says high efficiency, we've always heard that term. Oh, I got a high efficiency furnace. Where does it start and stop?
Well, the measurement for it is how much heat we actually lose to the outside when we burn the fuel. So what we try to do is, with the new high efficiency equipment, is get as much of that heat in the house and the least amount going outside. As a lot of people know today, most of the furnaces are vented with PVC pipe, and that's because we're bringing that heat in the house and it's not going out the chimney anymore. We're down to as low as 3 to 5% of loss going outside, as compared to years ago where it could be as high as 40-50% going out the chimney.
So you hear a 80% furnace. That's not considered high efficiency.
It's not anymore, and we're hearing things now those may go away for the northern states. We may have to go all the super high efficiency into the 90 pluses. The 80% are going to eventually in the next few years go away. They're not going to be allowed in the northern states.
Welcome back. This is Higher Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Great Saturday morning. Thinking about getting your house cleaned up? Thinking about sprucing it up for the spring? Maybe you want some curb appeal. Well, the number one way to get curb appeal is to add colors and paint. But when is it too early to paint on the outside of your house? Exterior paint, is it too hot, too cold? When do you start it? Do you plan it now? Does it make sense? Well, we're going to find all these answers out right now, because we've got John Cox from Prep Right Painting in studio. And he's one of the Higher Done contractors, long-time Higher Done contractor. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Adam.
How you doing, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
I have not missed any meals.
Well, that's a good thing.
Battling a few health issues, but, listen, everyone has to deal with what they got, and that's me. I'm gonna deal with what I got. So, but let's talk paint. So, how long you been a painter?
We've been in the business for 15 years,
Oh, nice. How long you been part of Hired Done?
14 years.
How about them apples?
Yes.
So
That's why we're
must be
still
doing
in business.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk painting. Let's figure out when a homeowner needs to fix up the outside of the house. They want to paint. It's right now what, March 7th, and they're thinking, yeah, we're going to change the color of the outside. They call you up. You come out there. How does that process work when it comes to timing of the year?
Well, the way things are with painting nowadays, if you don't hire a painter by spring, you're not going to get your house painted this summer. That painters, for especially exterior painters, are in high demand. So this is the time to call. We come out, we're going to evaluate everything. We're going to let people know the best way to protect the house. And the first question I ask people when I come out is, how long do you want this paint job to last? Because if somebody's planning on selling the house, they don't need a 15 to 20 year paint job. So we can give people, quick, easy paint jobs. That's not my preference. The name of the company is Prep Right. The prep on the exterior is what makes the paint job last.
Okay, and I'm glad you said it that way. So it's interesting that you ask how long you want the job to last, because listen, the average homeowner spends 7 to 10 years in a house today. So if I say to you, yeah, I'm going to be here another 10 years, you're saying, okay, I'm going to give you a paint job that's going to last. Best way to say it?
Right, exactly. Some people call me because, they've lived in the house for 15 years, never had it painted, realize that they want to get the house on the market, and they haven't done any maintenance in 15 years.
Wait.
So we can make the house look really good, even without all of the prep work. But again, doing it the right way is always the best way.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to say. So, okay, so let's give a scenario for a typical house that you paint that has exterior. So we're talking with John Cox from Prep Right Painting. The website is paintmichigan.com. If anyone wants to know. If you have a paint question, you can text us 97136. We'll be more than happy to try and answer it. So, John, let's go with the typical colonial house, brick face, 4 feet up, and then wood siding from the brick up, wood windows, wood fascia, wood soffits, and painted 7-8 years ago. Haven't done anything since, okay? They want to have the house cleaned up and painted. You come out. What do you check when you're walking around? Do you check how it's caulked?
I'm going to check a lot of things, including the caulk. Windows, especially wood windows, are something that we are very good at taking care of. It's something that I take a look at because typically what I find is windows were not painted properly. They weren't primed. If you don't prime wood windows prior to painting them, they're not going to last. It's just the way it works,
So, okay, and that's important because if you have wood windows on your house, folks, where the glass, it's called the sash. Okay, if the sash is wood, that's what the glass sits in, the sash, right? So, if that sash is not painted properly or sealed properly or prepped properly, it'll never last. And that's the biggest problem in Michigan because a lot of windows rot out because they're wood sashes. You have aluminum clad, you have vinyl clad, those will be okay, but the wood sashes. Now, when you have to paint a wood window, do you open the window or do you guys paint them when they're closed?
We're going to make sure that the windows are all opened or we can open them so we can paint all portions of the window as well as move them around so they don't dry and stick together, stick closed.
Okay, yeah, that's part of the good prep work is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, so what about when a house has been caulked over the years and the caulk shrinks and you see the cracks in the caulk and the wood that comes up against the house to the window, there's a gap there. Can you caulk over that? Do you scrape out that caulk? What's the proper prep work on that?
Caulking over existing caulk doesn't last. You have to remove the caulk. So if it's an important area of caulk, we need to cut out that caulk and put new caulk in. If we put old or new caulk over old caulk, it's going to last about a year.
Okay. So that's the problem. Don't caulk over caulk.
Right.
We've always said that, but I wanted to verify it, validate it today. Thank you for saying that. So you're looking at a brick front, 4 feet up, and there's a brick ledge. And then the wood siding rests on the brick ledge. You've seen that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's that area too. You have to scrape all that out and redo that?
Yeah, it's always my recommendation, and that's something that I discuss with every customer, is how much detail they want us to do. And I explain to them the right way to do things, the way we can do things. And cutting out all of the caulk on a house and replacing it is, for most people, cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Okay, well, and that's important, but there's labor involved in it. So you, depending on the severity of it and how much work is there, you show the homeowner. You walk them around the outside of the house?
Yes, I do. And sometimes, to the customer's dismay, that they actually have to go outside on a cold, blustery day to walk around their house with me. But if we don't walk around together, I don't know what their concerns are. It's harder for me to point out to them what I'm talking about as far as what needs to be done properly.
And that's important. Okay, so when you paint the outside of the house, temperature, do you have to be above 40, 30? What's the right way to do it?
So for most of the paints that we use, we have to be above freezing consistently, even in the 24-hour period following the painting.
So it can't get down to 30 at night.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
But the other part of that is that painters have to have some degree of dexterity in order to do the paint job nicely. And so I also take that into account, that if it's hovering in the high 30s, I still don't want to put my painters outside painting where their hands get cold and they can't paint properly.
Okay, that's fair, and that's smart. So you're quality-minded, obviously.
Yes.
I appreciate that. We're talking with John Cox, Prep Right Painting, the website paintmichigan.com. Been in business over 15 years. 96% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations to you. You tripled the rate. You're 3 times better.
Yes.
And you get all A reviews from Hired Done, which is always a good thing. We appreciate that. So, John, typical paint job on an exterior of a house: spray it, roll it, brush it. Is there a different methodology, or is it based on the house, like a 2-story house? Can you just spray or not? Or what do you usually do? Does it depend?
It's always based on the house as well as customer preference. I have some customers that say, I want everything brushed and rolled. I don't want anything sprayed. I'll always talk to them about the process and the warranty. That say, do you really care that we spray if we do it right and we don't get overspray on anything? A lot of times people worry that if we spray it out, they're going to have paint on the roof, on their windows, on things that they don't want paint on. And my promise to my customers is always that we're only going to get paint on what they pay us to paint. So if they don't pay us to paint their roof, we're not going to paint their roof.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But again, you're going to do it the right way.
Yes.
Now, what about people who have aluminum siding? Can you paint aluminum siding?
We excel at painting aluminum siding. It's actually something we've been doing for a long time. And actually, the first job we ever did for Hire It Done was an aluminum sided house.
From 2005, probably.
Yes.
Is that funny? I remember that.
Yes. So that was a long time ago. And we know how to prep the aluminum siding.
There's that chalkiness. Like aluminum has chalkiness.
Right.
You clean that?
You have to clean the chalkiness off. If you don't, so many times I go to look at a house that has been painted, an aluminum sided house that has already been painted,
Sure.
where the paint is actually wrinkling, sliding off of the house almost.
Yeah.
And so that's when it gets expensive for us to fix that. So it's better to just do it right the first time. If it's done right, it's going to last a lifetime, essentially.
I like that. It's not a bad idea. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about popular colors. Is there any new technology in paints besides picking that? And does it cost more if homeowners want more than one color? We're going to get all those when we come back. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. Good morning to everyone. My name's Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Keith Paul from Handy Pro sitting in studio right now. Welcome back, Keith.
Hi, thank you, Adam. Great to be here.
Thank you, my friend. Handypro.com is the website, and we had you on a little earlier, and we had do a little contractor segment for getting your taxes
It's
paid.
great.
Lawrence Levy. He's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Oh, to hear that there's somebody else to help us and be on our side. That's awesome.
Well, listen, he knows tax law. He knows, and he brings people on from the IRS. So the best part about it is, people freak out when they come in, right?
Sure. Nobody wants to get that letter.
It's like paralysis. He gets rid of all that. And so
Right.
I'm actually, a huge fan. So that's the best part about it. But anyways, hiring a handyman is not easy.
Not the good ones.
If you Google handyman and you go under the news segment, it's the top of the thing is handyman murderers. I hate to say it, but it's the truth,
Isn't that scary?
right?
I have Google alerts and I have the keyword handyman. So every day I get feed, and every time I see that, I think, boy, Adam's talking about this on his last show. It's right there: murder, steal, theft.
Right. So
Scary.
what insures a homeowner when they hire a handy pro
What insures them?
that they don't have to worry about?
Oh boy, so many different things. Number one, we have insurance. Number two, we're bonded.
Right,
we
of
have
course.
a remodeling license by the state of Michigan, so they can, that's the state of Michigan saying we're authorized to come in your home. But at the end of the day, we do background checks and we work with our team to make sure that if I can't put this gentleman in my grandmother's house, he doesn't work for Handy Pro. And so
There you go.
it's
That
carried
says it all
along
right
with-
there.
And we've had a whole many of our guys have been with Handy Pro for 5, 10, 15 years, which is an honor to me that they want to stay and work with us. But that's how we ensure. We just find the good guys who care.
Well, that's important,
job,
and then again, there's so many components. There's the work, whether there's quality or not quality. There's the trust. There's the schedule. There's the whole back end of how to manage that. Nothing's easy today.
Yeah, technology makes it a little bit easier, but yeah, it is. It's what we call controlled chaos, right?
Right?
We're in a company.
So funny. Controlled chaos. Sheer moments of terror.
There you go.
It's funny. When I worked on the TV show, remember the show Extreme Makeover Home Edition?
Absolutely.
So I worked on that
coming
show.
back or something.
Yeah, it's on HGTV. They're refilming a new season, but smaller. But we had sheer moments of terror. It's controlled chaos with sheer moments of terror. And then welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. We've got John Cox from Prep Right Painting, paintmichigan.com in studio. If you have a painting question this morning, text us 97136. John, if someone wants to call you today to get an estimate, you have the phone number they can call?
Yeah, our phone number is 734-416-1400.
734-416-1400. Always go to there, call them, or paintmichigan.com, or you can always just go to hireitdone.com. We'll send you John right away. John, so is there trends? Like, you've been painting over 15 years now. So any color trends that you see in the last year or so? Like, what's 2020 prediction for, like, the hot color?
The hottest colors right now are the grays, the blue grays. A lot of variations of black are really popular. I was skeptical about it, but people are doing it, and it's looking really good.
All right, well, that's a good way to know. So, yeah, I see gray as an interior popular color as well. And then it's starting, I'm seeing a little bit of trends. I think like vanilla yellows, a little bit towards chocolate. I don't know if that's me way being ahead of the scale, but I've been seeing a
Or
lot of that.
behind the times. Isn't that an 80s color, the chocolate?
What's old is new, right?
That's right.
Well, the chocolate was in the 80s. This year they call it Nutella.
Oh, okay.
It's the foo-foo fancy word.
That's right.
Okay, so if somebody wants a paint job, they call you up. Now, what about inside, outside? Do you have different painters for the exterior and the interior? Because you just finished that beautiful condo in Birmingham. The guys, you had your crew in there. They were so good. That lady's bragging about you everywhere.
Yeah, I take pride in my painters. Every painter that I have can do just as good of a job inside your house as outside of your house. And that's why I tell people we excel at exteriors, is because I'm putting interior custom painters on the outside of people's houses. My painters love working outside. It's their favorite time of year is the summer season. You know, they're
That makes
outside
sense.
and they get to work in the sunshine. They're not cooped up in a house.
Good. I like that. So let me ask you this. When you outside a house on a paint job, I've noticed that a lot of houses haven't even been power washed. Power washing is a big, important prep step sometimes, isn't it?
Sometimes, and that's the key word, is that it's not always necessary. And it seems that a lot of painters just automatically say, oh, I'm going to power wash everything. Well, Sherwin-Williams and the other paint companies say that in a lot of cases, you don't need to power wash prior to painting. So that's something that I do when I go out there to inspect, is this a job that we're going to need to power wash on? And if we
Okay,
do,
smart.
absolutely. But why should I charge somebody to power wash a house that doesn't need to be power washed?
I love that. So what constitutes yes or no for power washing? Do you a visual inspection? You can say, yeah, there's dirt built up, or what do you do?
It is almost exclusively a visual inspection. That what I don't ever want to do is replace scraping with power washing. And I see so many other painting companies do that, where they tell customers, oh, we're going to power wash and that's going to get the loose paint off your house. It doesn't get all of the loose paint off your house, and I never want to use power washing to replace scraping.
Okay. So scraping paint obviously is part of the prep work.
Right.
Okay. Power washing is to clean it. I've had houses that I've seen power wash. They look great. They're like it shines it up and everything. But I also live on a dirt road. So like for me, you get the dust in the summer and over years it builds up. So I would say my house would probably need power washing.
Right, exactly. So almost every house that's off of a dirt road is going to get power washed prior to painting. We don't want to paint over a bunch of dust, dirt, and debris.
I got you. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me. Well, that's cool. So that was the other thing. Now, what about like if someone says, my house is in good shape, I want to power wash my deck? You guys power wash, don't you?
Yeah, we do power washing, carpentry, painting.
Okay. So I want to have you come back in the spring, like April, like because I want to do a whole show on just deck prep and power washing. You'll come on for that, won't you?
Absolutely.
So, but if someone wants to power wash their deck this spring, they can call you and you can do that.
Yeah, we can do just power washing.
And then how about staining?
Absolutely, we can do staining. That's what we're best at.
Cheaper to combine it, power wash and stain a deck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to get a better deal if we're doing it all at once. And many times when people call me and tell me that they've power washed their own deck and all they need us to do is come out and stain, that we still need to power wash the deck.
You want to clean it.
Right. What a customer considers power washing and what we consider power washing aren't the same thing.
Makes sense. Yeah, I need to remember that. I need my my deck power wash. So remind me. I have solid stain and I didn't put it on right. I had one of my guys, handyman, do it and he messed it all up.
Solid stain is often done
It's
wrong.
peeling and bubbling.
Right.
Yeah, and it's cedar deck, but what a mistake. Anyways, I learned my lesson. Even I'm not perfect. How about them apples? I should have just called you. So you also work with some of the contractors that hire it done.
Yes.
Tittle Brothers, I know, who calls me and says you do a lot of work with him.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I'm going out to look at a job for Greg Tittle today.
He's one of our roofers. And so you and Greg Tittle Brothers Construction, are the two oldest hire it done contractors.
Right.
He started like a couple months before you. But you guys are both like my first clients, and it's been every year.
Yeah, but I've been nicer to you.
Well, no, clearly Greg is bipolar. He goes, I get screamed at by him once a month, and then he loves me the next month. So it's an up and down, but they're the best. If you want a roof that doesn't leak,
I always tell my customers that if you want your roof done right, that you should call Tittle Brothers.
He's done. He's great. Yeah, and that's the best part. What I like about him is he stands behind his work unequivocally. If there's ever an issue,
They did my roof.
okay, there you go. Boom.
Yeah.
So you understand. So is painting pricing wise? I see like decks always got expensive. I see that brickwork is concrete work. Everything's out of control. Paint doesn't seem to be unaffordable. It seems to be like it's pretty stable.
Painting is the most cost-effective way to protect your house and make it look good. When you compare the cost of replacement windows to painting your windows every 10 to 15 years, it's amazing. I mean, you could paint your windows on your house for the next 40 years and not come close to the cost of replacing just the windows on your house.
Which is important. So there's the best part about it. So painting doesn't have to be expensive.
No, it doesn't. Although we can make it expensive if people want.
No, of course.
But
Now, that's what I wanted to ask you. Cheap paint versus expensive paint. You're a Sherwin-Williams guy, right?
yes.
Okay, so Sherwin-Williams, good company. Good paint. But if you take their best paint, which is the Emerald, is that their best, I think?
Emerald is their best, but they've got something even better coming out this spring that we're super excited about.
Okay, so let's just use what's available now. If you don't apply it properly, it's no good, right?
That's correct. When the best paint is applied poorly, it's still going to fail.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. So it's just as important to have the right painter putting the good paint on.
Right.
I'm going to buy the good stuff. What's the point of buying the good stuff if it's not installed properly? That's half the battle, my opinion. You share
Right.
that? You agree?
Definitely.
Okay, so and your guys are all experienced. Now, are you hiring?
Yes, I'm always looking for good painters or paint crews.
If you're out there, you're a good painter, and you're looking to upgrade and increase your job satisfaction, I would say you should work for John Cox.
Yeah, when painters come to work for me, they don't leave.
Yeah, you have the same guys for forever.
Yes.
That's interesting. So paintmichigan.com is the website. Give John a call if you're looking to become a better painter. 734-416-1400 is the number. Prep Right Painting, obviously pre-screened by Hire It Done. You do a fantastic job. You're also licensed.
Yes,
You
we
don't
are a
need to
licensed
be,
builder.
it's funny. They used to be to paint a house, you had to be a licensed painter in residential. They changed that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they made that change, but
I don't either.
regardless of that, it's still always a safe decision for a homeowner to hire a licensed contractor.
Yeah, it makes so much better sense. Anyways, what's the best way to do that? So if someone calls you up, how's your schedule? Are you months away or are you weeks away? Because I know you're always busy.
So right now we've got about 32 jobs booked for the season. We offer a 10% discount to our first 50 customers of the year for exterior work.
Oh, so call you.
Yes.
Love it. So, all right. So there you have it. 10% off if you call Prep Right Painting for any exterior work, which is smart. 734-416-1400, paintmichigan.com, or just go to hireitdone.com. John Cox from paintmichigan.com, Prep Right Painting. He'll come out to your house. John, I want to thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure to have you here, brother.
I always like to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you when we do our deck stuff coming up soon.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
That's it for this hour. Tune in. Keep it locked in, friends. We'll be back. I'm Adam Helfman. This is the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. We did a segment last month on egress windows, and I had a few people write in and ask, do I need to put an egress window in my basement? Should I get one even if it's not required? How do I know? Well, it's great questions, and listen, I'm glad people listen because it's important that if you're renovating your basement, and by the way, it's a big trend this year, basement renovations. Turning your basement into a lower level. Finished basements are huge. And you know what? It's like the uncharted territory in your house. So let's first of all, let's define what egress means, right? Egress simply means exit. So an egress window is a window large enough for an entry or exit in case of an emergency. Now, in the case of basements, egress windows are typically paired with an egress well or a window well with an attached ladder or steps for easy escape. Here's the thing. You're in the basement, you got a fire, and the only way out is the staircase. If the fire's in that area and you're locked out, you got problems, Houston. So this is why you need an alternative means of egress or exit, okay? Now, because egress windows are a safety mechanism, they must comply with the new code or the current code. To make things more complicated, codes can vary from city to city. So I recently went to our go-to guy, all things egress, Anthony Iapolo. He owns a company called Easy Exit Egress Windows. And legit, like all my contractors use him. If you're doing your own project and you need an egress window, he's the guy. There's no question about it. He'll do your egress windows. And he's been installing egress windows for years and is one of the most experienced window installers in Michigan. The way he does it is amazing. So anyways, just trust me on that one. So here's the thing. There's actually an International Residential Code, the IRC, pertaining to egress windows, right? It's the 2006 egress code for 1 and 2 family dwellings. Now, keep in mind, there's a ton of information. And when I was talking to Anthony, he could write a book about it, but I'm going to give you the key points. And we're going to check about on how they pertain to the egress windows and which are usually below level or are below level. Okay? Below ground level. Here's the thing. The 2006 egress code. Now, that's kind of old, but that's what it is. Windows. The sill height of a window above the floor is not to exceed 44 inches. So the bottom of your window can't be higher than 44 inches off the floor in a basement. The minimum opening for your egress window needs to be 5.7 square feet. The minimum opening height is 24 inches. The minimum opening width is 20 inches. Now, Anthony also was quick to point out that some things that confuse a lot of homeowners measuring a space for their window is that a window that is 24 by 20 inches, which is the 2 foot by 20 inches, would technically meet the minimum height and width requirements, but it would not meet the required 5.7 square feet of opening size, okay? Think about that for a second. Window wells, area wells. Now, they are required where window opening sill height is below ground elevation, okay? That's important. The horizontal dimensions you should have is 9 square feet, and it should project about 36 inches. That's the window well. Think about a half a circle, okay? Now, the ladders. You need a ladder to climb out. It's required on a window well deeper than 44 inches and must be permanently attached. The ladder may encroach into the well up to 6 inches. So think about that for a second. This is a lot of information. This is why I say hire this done. Don't do your own egress window for sure. Because the other thing is once you cut into your foundation, the chance of getting a leak in your basement, very, very stressful, very high. So you got to have it done properly, right? And you need like a grate on top, and it needs to be removable, obviously. So that's one of those things. Shout out to Jen Way. What up, Jay? Nice to hear from you. She's listening. She's on her way to Kroger. She's Krogering. Text us 97136 if you have a question about egress windows this morning. Here's the other thing. The International Code Council, the Building Officials Code, BOCA, and the Uniform Building Code all are sponsoring this. And you might be saying, that's okay, great information, but how do I know whether or not I need an egress window? Well, according to the 2006 code, egress windows and wells are required under the following circumstances. If you add a bedroom in a basement, an egress window must be installed in that bedroom, okay? If you create a habitable space in your basement and you currently do not have an egress window, one must be included with the installation of the habitable room. Now, keep in mind that codes vary from city to city, so you always should call your local city. If you have a finished basement or a basement bedroom that was finished before the current laws went into effect, then you typically wouldn't be required to add an egress window. However, if you plan on renovating anything in your basement, the city may require you to add an egress window. Now, let me just say this. It's like having a smoke detector. You have to have it. God forbid, in that outside chance, you wouldn't believe it. You really, really need that. So, I wouldn't have any of my kids or anyone living in a basement, for sure, if I was getting an egress window. And, of course, according to Dave, if all pork chops were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. That's the key. It's like pizza. What's the point of eating pizza? I could give you 1,000 points because it's my favorite food. One bite, everyone knows the rules, right? So if you're looking for an egress window or you're looking to finish your basement, an egress window is probably like $3,500 to install properly. The key is when they cut the wall, whether it's a concrete wall or a block wall, you really need the right guy to do it, because once they put the window in, if it's not sealed perfectly, if they don't have the drainage done just right, everything has to be perfect. You really, really could have leaks and problems. And remember, when you have water coming in your basement, because the basements are humid, you have the perfect climate for mold. Nobody wants mold. Nobody wants to add respiratory issues. The humidity, everything messes it up. So, again, you got to be careful. You got to be smart. And that's what we do here. We try to give you the best information. We try to help you hire it done, of course. So what's on your home improvement list? We're going to have great weather today. I would love for everyone to walk outside, take a look at their house. If you have a chance today, walk up to the street, look at your house, check your roof out, check for any debris, check, anything that you have, because it's a definite time of year to do that. Plus, it's going to put everyone in a better mood because of the good weather we're going to have. So excited. Spring is, only a month away. How about them apples, right? So that's the best part. Yes, dinner. And that's all we are. That's all we want to do. Anyways, if you're thinking of remodeling your basement, you need to ask your contractor about an egress window. A lot of contractors who do basements, not a lot. The ones that are done all do egress windows. But I've had contractors say, you don't need it. I'm like, yeah, you do. Don't do a basement without it. Trust me when I tell you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, how to hire a handyman. If you ever Google handyman, you go to news, it's like all murderers. Oy. Well, guess what? We got the real deal coming up next. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. So you got a whole list of little projects you got to do around the house. And, it's the honey-do list, right? I hate to say it, but get this done, get that done. And it adds up, You see a little crack, you open the door too fast, and it put a hole in the drywall. A kitchen cabinet, the hinge keeps coming off. You're closing a drawer, and the drawer front's loose. I could go through every room in your house and come up with 30 items in each room that you need to take care of. So what do? How do you bundle it? Where do you find a guy that takes care of it all? Well, you're lucky this morning because I have the guy. Joining me on the Hire It Done radio show right now is Keith Paul from Handy Pro. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Adam. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Healthman. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Remember, what you don't know can hurt you. I've got a jam-packed hour of home improvement coming your way. If you have a question this morning, you can text us, 97136. We'll be more than happy to answer some of your questions. We've got a good hour lined up. Shout out to Barbara Norton from New York who's listening. Thank you. Wesson, who's listening. Everyone out there, thank you. Doug, Connie. We always appreciate it. And got a good hour lined up because we have a contractor, or not a contractor, we have an attorney coming on in. You know what? If you're a homeowner and you want to fire your contractor, we're going to ask him how to do that. And how about if you're a contractor and want to fire the homeowner? That's what I want to talk about. How to fire your homeowner. You know, when you get the crazy homeowner from hell. I got the new podcast coming up that everyone is going to be raving about called Contractor Therapy. That's right. The new podcast by Hire It Done called Contractor Therapy. We're going to have a huge launch on that. And it's all homeowner from hell, contractor from hell stories. Yeah. You're going to really, really like that. Anyways, wanted to just give you a little teaser on that. But we got a lot coming up today in the show. We got a couple of content pieces. I got replacing your plumbing, home hacks, which I'm going to do right now. How to hack your home. Little hacks for around your house that are fun. But if you have a question, real quick, text me 97136. Here's one that just came in. Adam, we have a sitting room off one of the ends of our kitchen. We're looking to put a faux fireplace in. What's the best way to go? Gas, we would need to run lines and cut through the wall for ventilation. Electric wouldn't require this. They also have some that burn a gel. Pass on that. This one makes me a little nervous. Yeah, of course. It's more for aesthetics, but some heat would be nice. What are your opinions? Cost obviously plays a factor. Do these items add value to a home? I don't see us selling in the future, but you never know. It's an exterior wall with a crawl space. Okay, that helps, which makes running the lines a little bit easier. Okay, so here's the deal. If you want to add a fireplace to that room off the kitchen, great idea. They make pre-made fireplaces like in a box, professionally installed. They can sit it in your wall. And since you have a crawl space, you run a gas line. And that's the most efficient way. Now, how much does that cost you? Probably done right. It's about $3,000 to $5,000. But adding a fireplace is a talking point. It's a gathering point. We'll heat that room. It's cozy. Will definitely add value to your house. Sitting room with fireplace off the kitchen, bam. Very good to go. I like the idea. I think you should look into it. And I think you should also look into financing. Financing your home improvement is a big, big topic today. And of course, coming up, we're going to be talking always how to finance your home improvement properly. Do you want to do a refi, equity line of credit? Push button, get mortgage? I like that idea. Anyways, let's get a fresh batch of my healthy home hacks. So today's hacks are all about organization. I'm the least organized guy around. I need a professional organizer, to be honest. It's what I should be doing, to be honest. But hey, whatever. Here's one. A magnetic tray for your bobby pins. Now, I don't wear bobby pins because I ain't got no hair. But whether used at home or at a hair salon, it's easy for bobby pins to find their way into your nooks and crannies in the couch, everywhere, right? Instead of wasting time trying to find them and ruining your vacuum cleaner by accidentally sucking them up, a magnetic tray works great. Literally. What's up, Karwowski? My man, Brian Karwowski. Thanks for tuning in, brother. How about a coffee table tray? Are you always misplacing remote controls or your reading glasses? When I used to have reading glasses, I'd buy a dozen at a time. One for the pocket next to my car, one for the armrest, one for the other side, one for each side of my bed, one for everywhere around. It's crazy. But anyways, a coffee tray is really smart. You don't realize how inconvenient they are until you have one. I have one next to my couch where I put my glasses and I put my remote controls. I know. Today, you don't need remotes. Today, you can use everything from an app. Just ask Paulson's. They got everything going on. But anyways, that's something we're going to be talking more about, home hacks with them, which I'm excited about. So, what about a cleaning caddy? Like most people, you have cleaning supplies above the washer and dryer in the bathroom, under the sink. Rather than run around the room to room, grab what you need. Keep them all the supplies organized in a cleaning caddy. It's actually a good idea. How about pantry jars? Are you a Pinterest person? I think I'm the only guy who has a Pinterest page. Go on Pinterest and look me up. You'll laugh what I have. Still cool. Anyways, pantry jars. Keeping items like pasta, coffee, cereal, rice in a glass jar will keep your pantry organized and make it easier to see when it's time to make a trip to the grocery store. I've never bought groceries online yet. A lot of people are doing that. They go online and they pick everything up and then boom, get it delivered. I'm going to try that. See how that works. How about upcycling baby jars? That's a good one too. How about a dishwasher magnet? This is one I want to get. I used to love magnets. The real heavy duty ones that can lift up things. It's always fun. Anyways, we've got a lot coming up. If you want to replace your old plumbing, and should you do it yourself or hire it done? I'm going to tell you how to do it, or how I would do it. That's right, plumbing. Good luck on that one. Coming up next, I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network.
For having me.
Awesome. It's always good to have you in this studio.
It is. Thank you. Look at the sun out there.
I know.
Did
Can you imagine?
See that?
The sun is rising. What a beautiful.
It is.
In about 30 minutes, it's going to be blaring through the windows of the station.
I'll be blinded. Huh?
Yeah. Which is all good. But so the hardest, home improvement's booming. The business is booming. People are having trouble finding contractors. A kitchen, a bath, a room addition, roofing, siding, windows. It's never easy to find the right guy. The hardest thing to find is an honest, and this is the key words, honest and trustworthy handyman. And thank God you're here, but at the same time, you're super busy. handypro.com. Keith, introduce yourself to the Hire It Done audience.
Oh, well, thank you, Adam. It's great to be here on a Sunday morning. My name's Keith Paul, and my wife and I started a company back in 1996 when Adam and I were very, very young.
Right?
So we're
and
real
friends
close
back
to then. Right, exactly. Well, you kind of helped me, when we first got into the industry because I was new to it. We were helping start a handyman service because my wife's grandmother was ripped off by a contractor. And you and I met at one of the NARI meetings, and you kind of said, "Hey, let me give you a little hint because I owned a pizzeria way back when, right in Garden City, just a small pizzeria. So getting into the home improvement industry was a little new to me, and I appreciate the direction that you gave, and we've been having a blast ever since. You just said the key word is honest.
Yeah.
And that is so true. You can go on Craigslist, you can go anywhere, you can find a lot of handymen, but where's the ones that you can trust in your home? Your home is your most sacred place, as you say all the time.
Of course.
And so when you bring somebody in your home and maybe your wife's home or your kids are there, you want somebody that you can trust. So how do you do that? And making sure that this guy can do a good job and so forth. And it's my wife and I, that's what we've been having fun doing over the years is because there's a lot of good guys out there, as you know. That's what you stand for.
Correct.
The good guys, and education to your listeners to say, hey, listen, there are a lot of good guys out there. We hear about the bad guys all the time because that's what's newsworthy.
Of course.
But if we can give tips on how to find the good guys, how to keep the good guys around you, then you and I win.
No, that's the best part. So Handy Pro is a franchise handyman service that you are the franchisor.
We are.
And so how many franchises do you have now?
14.
14. That's around the country.
Yeah, around the country, yep.
And you're growing.
We are. We open up in Fort Lauderdale at the end of March.
Oh,
so
wow, that's a huge one. Florida's a big, big market.
It is. We just came back from Sarasota. We have one in Sarasota. Came back from there last week, and we saw a lot of that sun.
Oh, yeah.
And but I won't talk about the weather because we're here in Michigan. But
No,
we had a
it's
good
okay.
time.
Today's going to be sunny, of course.
Right.
So hiring a handyman is not easy. Is there a typical project? Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Good morning to everyone. Great Saturday morning, I guess. You ever have a question, home improvement, give me a call or text me 97136. Email me, adam@hireitdone.com. So it's time for that classic question. Do you do it yourself or do you hire it done? Think about that. You see, from the neck down, I'm worth minimum wage. So I'm not the do-it-yourselfer. However, I'm not anti-do-it-yourself. Let's make it very clear to my friends. I am pro-do-it-for-me, right? So this is important. I'm Mr. Hire It Done, so I'm not doing anything myself. Not that I'm better. I just don't want to. I'd rather hire it done. I'd rather hire a pro. But I know there are plenty of folks out there who are handier than I am and might want to consider tackling a tough job on their own. The job I'm talking about today is the one that I actually think is pretty tough, and that's replacing old plumbing. I was just in a house in Round Lake with somebody the other day, and all the plumbing is like PVC, galvanized. It was nothing. Oh, it was terrible. It's a big disaster. But I don't want it. I'm not talking about one or two pipes. I'm talking about retrofitting your entire house. Usually the reason to do this project is that you have an older home, galvanized pipes, obviously. And let's talk about why you might want to replace your galvanized pipes. So why are you getting rid of galvanized pipes? Let's talk about it. If your house is old enough to have galvanized pipes, the potential exists that they could be contaminating your water. That's right, contaminating. No one wants dirty water. Until 1986, manufacturers used naturally occurring zinc that contained impurities such as lead. Oy, L-E-A-D, that's a four-letter word. Lead. It's like mold. There's some pretty bad four-letter words. Anyways, they used lead in the galvanizing process, right? With today's emphasis on health and clean water, that's the reason, though, many homeowners want to replace their old pipes. But there's a lot of other reasons as well. Galvanized pipes tend to corrode from the inside, kind of like an artery getting clogged up. And, of course, the gradual reduction in the internal cross-section restricts your water flow. So if you have low water pressure, you have galvanized pipes, I can guarantee I know why. You'll see this reflected in if you have a faucet with low pressure, like we just said. The other reason is that galvanized pipes in the fittings eventually rust and begin to leak. If any leaks are behind the walls, it causes considerable damage, including mold, before you discover them. So you got to be careful. Now, what do you replace galvanized pipes with today? There's a couple options. You got PEX. You got copper. The most popular, the fastest growing is PEX. But copper's still a valuable one. It's expensive copper. PVC I don't recommend as much as far as supply lines because they're not desirable. PEX is the best one. But I'm not going to go into weighing what pros and cons of each one right now. But here's the thing. So how do you start? Where do you start? What are you going to do? Well, the process of removing pipes behind the walls and under floors can seem pretty daunting. And you may be tempted to leave some of them in place. Don't do that. If you're going to replace them all. One little pipe that's blocked or clogged is going to stop everything else. So horizontal, vertical pipes, you got to get them all. Now, if they're behind the wall, what do you do? How do you do it? That's the key, and that's the question. So it's important that you figure that out. The other thing is the fittings, the transitions. If you think about that, connections. When you have dissimilar items or dissimilar materials, you get a reaction. That's another problem. So you need to run off fresh lines. First of all, you got to turn your water main off. But don't disassemble them. Just cut the pipes out, okay? When it's time to get them out, just cut them out. Now, you want to leave them in the wall? Drain them first, and then if you're going to run all new. It's okay. You're going to do some damage somewhere, so might as well. But my point is, get rid of the pipes that are there. And it's not that easy, especially when you're going from a first floor to a second floor. But sometimes you can use the pipes as a guide. Now, what about unscrewing your old fittings? Once you remove the bulk of your pipes, you'll have a few pieces of the pipes left to unscrew from the water valve and other parts of the system that you want to keep. Unscrewing old corroded galvanized pipes is a job that calls for brawn, some heavy wrenches, It really calls for a pro. That's why it's so easy to call a professional plumber. That's what we do, right? Anyways, we have a lot of ways to do that. But, you got to be careful when you're doing plumbing. Here's the best part. If you have homeowners insurance and the water's leaking everywhere, because once you get everything done and you don't have a leak, you don't know if you have a leak, you turn the water back on and it pressurizes, that's where the big risk comes in. I'll tell you right now, you're never going to catch me plumbing my own house. I don't want that. I'm going to hire Shelby Mechanical, Ron Alexander, or one of my other plumbers. They're going to come out. He's going to send Dominic. He's going to send one of his great guys. They're going to come out. They're going to turn the water off. He's going to say, all right, here's the deal. He's going to run plumbing. He's going to know the exact amount. He's going to know everything that he needs to get done. And bam, it's going to be done professionally and perfect. And with more water pressure and hot water to the right locations. That's the best part. So what's the verdict? Do it yourself or hire it done. What do you want to do? If this is your first plumbing project, don't be doing it. Okay? If you think you have some plumbing savvy, you're comfortable with power tools you need, it's possible. But you're not going to be able to replace all your pipes watching YouTube. Maybe you are. There's people out there. I got to be honest. I'm not that guy. Like I said, my friends, from the neck down, I'm worth minimum wage. From the chin up, 7 figures. Remember that. So with a job like replacing your plumbing, you've never done it before, you can end up making a huge mistake, cost you a lot of money. That's not easy. You got a question? Text me 97136. Hey, Adam, I just paid off my home equity loan, but that home is now a rental. I've been told that getting home equity loans and a rental house is next to impossible. Is that true? Thank you. No, it's not true. It's not impossible. It absolutely can be done. In fact, if you have equity, you're allowed to borrow against it. I mean, if you have you got to have good credit and everything. And if you have a rental and it's paying, yeah, man, get that equity. Fix the house up. Be wise, though. Don't don't use your house as a checkbook. But at the same time, rates are so low. Home improvement financing is on its way. People love that. So, again, like I said, the average roof's over 10 grand. The average kitchen's 30, 40 grand today. Are you just going to write a check? You're going to borrow your 401k? Where are you going to get the money? First place you should look is an equity line of credit or a refi. If you're paying any kind of rate, 4, 5, 6%, you've got to look at renovation financing. It's the fastest growing financing in home improvement, to be honest. It is. But of course, you got to be careful. Even if you're going to get like a new furnace. Yeah. Getting a new furnace is a smart way to go. Or how about a used one? How about a scratch and dent one? Hire it done. We got all the connections. Just ask my girl, Jen Wilhelmsen. She knows. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, how to fire your contractor. And if you're a contractor, I'm also going to tell you how to fire your homeowner. Keep it locked in. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. One day at a time.
That's about all you take.
Right? Something. Anyways. So we're switching gears for a quick second. It's the time of year for contractors who have to get their taxes all in order. So I always like to bring on a good friend of the show and like the benchmark in the tax industry, Lawrence Levy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lawrence.
Besides being a good tax guy, how about we've known each other for the good part of 45 years?
Every
maybe?
bit of it. My whole life.
And mine too.
Lawrence and I had a play date when we were like 5 and 6 years old. That was in 1973, 74.
Yeah.
Something like that. Crazy.
I'm getting gray hair now these days, but yeah.
At least you have it. It's the best part. So you tell us who you brought today.
So today in the Levy office, We have former IRS revenue officers, and we actually just hired a couple of weeks ago a gentleman from the appeals office, which was a great one. However, the guy that's sitting here right in the Hire It Done studios is a guy that used to work at the IRS in the local Pontiac office for over 32 years. By the way, and you can see by his hat, for those of you watching Hire It Done live, he was in Desert Storm, so we'd like to also say thank you for your service to the country. You were in the Gulf War and the Navy. So thank you very much, Greg, of course. But Greg, you worked at the IRS for over 32 years here locally. You were the one that would knock on the doors. You were the one that would issue levies like my last name, a bank levy, a wage levy. And now, for several years now, you've been on the other side working on behalf of taxpayers who find themselves that get into messes. As you well know, Adam's show here at Hire It Done focuses primarily on contractors. To your left, you have a gentleman that owns a handyman company with his wife that's been around since the 90s. Please God, he's never been a client and doesn't need to be a client, but it's tax season. Over your years as a former IRS revenue officer and now on the other side, you've saved our clients millions of dollars, whether it's through an offer in compromise, penalty abatements, because of your experience as a former IRS collections, what they call revenue officer. You also spent a few years in the offer and compromise unit. Doesn't it make you feel good as a human being to be able to help people who find themselves in a jam with the IRS or, for that matter, the state?
Yeah, basically, it's outreach of what I did at the IRS. Towards the end of my IRS career, I came to the realization I could actually help people. I didn't have to always kick them in the butt. I didn't have to go and levy them into oblivion. I didn't like doing that. I would reach out and say, hey, guys, you got this problem. Let's figure out how you got into this problem, and let's figure out what's needed to get you out of the problem, and more importantly, stay out of the problem in the future.
And I'll tell you, working now with our clients, that's one of your main focus points. If a contractor's listening today, or a homeowner, whoever it may be, I want to share with you a quick story. It wasn't a file that you worked on, but we had a contractor right here in Michigan. Gentleman owed the IRS over $1 million, and I said that correct, over $1 million. I was telling the handyman company here before we went on in the studio, and he was able to get an offer and compromise accepted for just about $100,000, so 10 cents in the dollar. But I want to be really clear to all of Adam's listeners that an offer and compromise is not for everyone because everyone doesn't qualify for one. But a solution does exist no matter what it's going to be, and it's our team that will help you get through that. Besides,
Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. I want to thank everyone for listening and tuning into my show today. You got a question? Text me 97136. We'll help you. Always help you. Adam, what's the typical cost to renovate a master bathroom in a condo? Craig from Novi. That's a good question, Craig. Average bathroom remodel master bath, which is a little bit bigger than a powder room, you're going to spend 15, 20 grand on a low average. It can go way up from there, but we have some really, really good bathroom contractors. If you need help, just go to hireitdone.com. We'll help you. Like to have my patio door installed in a place that does not have a door currently. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, we have contractors who will break through the brick siding. They'll put a header in. They'll put all that in for you. Just go to hireitdone.com. J&E services, they do that. But anyways, we'll help you out. So here's the deal, my friends. You are hiring a contractor. You're all excited. You roll your sleeves up. You get all excited. And you start off the job gung-ho. Contractor starts in demo. 3-4 days later, no calls. No one shows up. There's a mess. Water's dripping out of the bathroom faucet that they demoed. You're scratching your head and you're like all excited. And the next thing you start to think, you're starting to sweat. You're like, uh-oh, maybe the guy's not coming back. He's not returning calls. What's going on? Well, we never want this to happen, but there's going to be a time when you may have to fire your contractor. There may be a time you might have to call an attorney. There may be a time where you may have to really think about this. But anyways, here's the deal. Joining me in the Hire It Done studio is Eric Glick from the Glick Law Firm and a longtime friend of Hire It Done and myself personally. Welcome, Eric.
Morning, Adam. It's good to be here.
Good. Thanks for coming in, brother.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
So you've been an attorney how long now?
About 23 years.
Boy,
Yep.
my man.
Time flies.
Yeah, that is. All right, let's get right down to it. You've been a sharp attorney. I've known you a long time. You've helped me. You've helped contractors.
Mm-hmm.
You and I keep our finger on the pulse of the law when it comes to contracting.
Right.
But you do contractors for homeowners and homeowners. You do both ways.
Yeah. If you know the law, then the law is the same for the most part, whether you're talking about commercial, whether you're talking about residential, and whether you're talking about representing the property owner or the contractor or the subcontractors or materials or equipment providers. It's all the same law.
Well, I have a special case I want to give you to. We have a plumber, great plumber. His name is Ron Alexander, Shelby Mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing work for, all over Hire It Done. He does great work. They love him. We love him. But he's got a management company that's messing with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs your help. Will you help out?
Of course.
I want to go guns a-blazing after these people.
Management companies can be great or they can be horrible. It's
They
like
don't pay.
anything else.
I want the money for this guy.
Right.
And we're going to use the radio show to help get it. So,
Okay.
Ron, Hire It Done and the attorneys to the rescue. You just make sure you understand that, Ron. We're coming after him. We're going to take care of business for you. Anyways, homeowner has problem with the contractor. What's the first advice we give?
Well, boy, in the example you gave, there's a lot of things going on that come to my mind. First is, you got to have a good contract. You got to have everything specified, all the scope of work. You want to be really specific. Then you want to make sure you get the payments under control. Right? If you're the property owner, you want to not overpay. Right.
Yeah,
and
of course.
if you're the contractor, you want to get paid as much as possible. And then so you want to manage expectations. And then the other thing is sometimes you want to be patient. And part of that is communication. Contractors can be busy. Just because someone doesn't show up for 2 days or a day or two doesn't mean that they've run away with your money or that they're not going to do the job. And that's where communication comes in so you can manage expectations. So, of course, if a homeowner pays a lot of money, someone shows up and doesn't show up for 2 days and doesn't return phone calls, that's a big problem. And the first thing they think is, oh, no, I'm one of those horror stories. I better call the attorney.
Exactly. So
It doesn't have to be that way, though.
Okay. So let's take that advice and that information and let's translate it right now to homeowners who are thinking of hiring contractors. If you hire a contractor in your scope of work, in the contract, folks, make sure you write down everything that's included in the job. Are we on the same page so far?
Absolutely. You've helped me with this time and again, right?
Right. So everything's included. Now, let's go to the next level.
Okay.
Please write down and have your contractor write this down. Everything that's not included, my friends, should also be written in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
You've litigated where people's like, well, I thought he was going to paint. He didn't paint, and it wasn't included.
Right.
So if paint is not included, like I have contractors who just don't paint, and that's okay. They'll do your whole bathroom. They'll do your whole addition. They'll do your second story. They'll do everything, but they don't paint because painting can be your own thing. It should be excluded.
You've looked over my own contracts when I was getting a bid to get a deck done at my house, right, to be redone.
Right.
And it didn't specify what kind of wood is it. Is it cedar? Is it Walmanized? Is it Trex? And then what grade of wood is it? It's all
not.
those things. It's you don't think about it, but it needs to be in there because those are where disputes happen.
Right. And by the way, thank you for telling me that because here's the thing. Hire It Done has a logo. What you don't know can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we came up with that was specifically for what you said. When a homeowner is building a deck and you're an attorney, you're experienced. The guy comes out and says, yeah, we're going to build your deck 12 by 8, 3 steps down, handrails, how exciting. And you said to me, Adam, what do you think? And I'm like, dude, Walmanized, treated, Trex, cedar, footings. What's the story? Where's the demolition of the debris? Is he hollowing debris? Is he putting the debris in your front yard?
Right.
You're looking at me, you're like, holy moly, Adam, I forgot.
So if you take your advice in the first instance and get all that done, we're cutting, the possibility of having a dispute or a lawsuit, by 90%.
So what is a homeowner to do, like right now? They don't know if they don't know.
Right.
That's
Well,
why
that's
it makes
why-
sense to call an attorney, have you review a contract, right?
Sure, if it makes sense to do that, if it's a large enough contract where it makes sense. Michigan's one of those states where you're not required to have an attorney involved in, these types of contracts, or even when you buy or sell a home. Some states actually require you to have an attorney involved. But so what you can do is, hopefully, if you get estimates from more than one person, and maybe talk with you or check out your website, you're going to get information so you know what questions to ask.
Yes.
Right? Because
and then the questions they don't want you to ask, you need to do that.
as an attorney, I see that all the time. People don't know what they don't know, right?
Well, that's the whole point. So that's why this show exists, for all you people out there understanding. We're trying to educate you. We're trying to give you we arm you with information, good content, so that when it comes time to hiring a contractor, you'll probably say, oh yeah, Adam said to make sure everything in writing that's not included. So Eric, as you know, the good contractors are who we want to promote, but not everything's perfect.
Right.
So finding a good solution-minded contractor is the way to go. If there's a problem, he solves it. What's your thoughts on arbitration?
Arbitration has a place, but it's sort of tricky because there's benefits to arbitration and there's downsides to arbitration. And you could have a whole series of shows on arbitration, and whether, if you're a contractor, you want an arbitration provision in your contract, and if you're a homeowner or a property owner, whether you want an arbitration provision. Suffice to say, there's more barriers to starting an arbitration action. If you go to regular court, state court, then your tax dollars pay most of that. Your tax dollars pay for the judge and the staff, and you're going to pay a filing fee, maybe $60 to $160. And then you're going to pay for your attorney if you have one, but you don't need one. You can go to small claims court. If you go to arbitration with the American Arbitration Association, you're going to pay, I think at the minimum, a $795 fee to start the action.
Correct.
Right? Then you're paying half of the arbitrator's fee, and the other side is paying half of the arbitrator's fee. And if it's a small case, there's one arbitrator. If it's a larger case, there's three arbitrators, and their fees can be $300-$400 an hour. And then you're paying your attorney on top of that. So, if you want to avoid disputes, then you might want to put an arbitration provision in, because those costs are going to be a barrier to someone filing an arbitration claim in the first place. If someone is adamant that they want to go to arbitration, well, then you've got to think about the flip side is, if you're in state court, you're going to have the ability to conduct discovery. You're going to be able to take depositions and send out written questions and issue subpoenas and get information to prepare your case. And you're going to have opportunities to talk with the court. You're going to have settlement conferences and things. Under the American Arbitration Association small claims case rules, which is cases less than $75,000 at issue, you just go to hearing within 45 days. Maybe not even a verbal hearing. Maybe just it's based on the pleadings, the letters that you file. So sometimes it can be scary to go to arbitration if you actually are there, because you don't feel like you have the ability to really make your case.
That makes sense. So my question is, and we're going to take a quick break in a second, but we're going to take a break, but we're going to talk about, is arbitration worth it? I want to define arbitration, mediation, binding arbitration, and then go into court, because at the end of the day, I don't want to spend all my money proving I'm right or wrong and not come out with anything. I want to just solve it. So we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Keep it locked in here. We have Eric Glick from Glick Law Firm talking about how to fire your homeowner or your contractor. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. And you need like a grate on top, and it needs to be removable, obviously. So that's one of those things. Shout out to Jen Way. What up, Jay? Nice to hear from you. She's listening. She's on her way to Kroger. She's Krogering. Text us 97136 if you have a question about egress windows this morning. Here's the other thing. The International Code Council, the Building Officials Code, BOCA, and the Uniform Building Code all are sponsoring this. And you might be saying, that's okay, great information, but how do I know whether or not I need an egress window? Well, according to the 2006 code, egress windows in wells are required under the following circumstances. If you add a bedroom in a basement, an egress window must be installed in that bedroom. Okay? If you create a habitable space in your basement and you currently do not have an egress window, one must be included with the installation of the habitable room. Now, keep in mind that codes vary from city to city, so you always should call your local city. If you have a finished basement or a basement bedroom that was finished before the current laws went into effect, then you typically would be required to add an egress window. However, if you plan on renovating anything in your basement, the city may require you to add an egress window. Now, let me just say this. It's like having a smoke detector. You have to have it. God forbid, in that outside chance, you wouldn't believe it. You really, really need that. So, I wouldn't have any of my kids or anyone living in a basement, for sure, if I was getting an egress window. And, of course, according to Dave, if all pork chops were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. That's the key. It's like pizza. What's the point of eating pizza? I could give you 1,000 points because it's my favorite food. One bite, everyone knows the rules, right? So if you're looking for an egress window or you're looking to finish your basement, an egress window is probably like $3,500 to install properly. The key is when they cut the wall, whether it's a concrete wall or a block wall, you really need the right guy to do it, because once they put the window in, if it's not sealed perfectly, if they don't have the drainage done just right, everything has to be perfect. You really, really could have leaks and problems. And remember, when you have water coming in your basement, because the basements are humid, you have the perfect climate for mold. Nobody wants mold. Nobody wants to add respiratory issues. The humidity, everything messes it up. So, again, you got to be careful. You got to be smart. And that's what we do here. We try to give you the best information. We try to help you hire it done, of course. So what's on your home improvement list? We're going to have great weather today. I would love for everyone to walk outside, take a look at their house. If you have a chance today, walk out to the street, look at your house, check your roof out, check for any debris, check, anything that you have, because it's a definite time of year to do that. Plus, it's going to put everyone in a better mood because of the good weather we're going to have. So excited. Spring is, only a month away. How about them apples, right? So that's the best part. Yes, dinner. And that's all we are. That's all we want to do. Anyways, if you're thinking of remodeling your basement, you need to ask your contractor about an egress window. A lot of contractors who do basements, not a lot. The ones that I've done all do egress windows, but I've had contractors say, "Oh, you don't need it." I'm like, "Yeah, you do. Don't do a basement without it. Trust me when I tell you." All right, we're going to take. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. Good morning, everyone. My name's Adam Helfman. We have Eric Glick from the Glick Law Firm specializes in contractors, homeowners, construction liens, litigating home improvement, solving home improvement problems. He is very, very knowledgeable. Welcome back, Eric.
Well, thanks, Adam.
So we were talking about arbitration and whether you think it's a necessary evil or not, and you're kind of, depends. It really does. And that's the thing. It does depend.
Right.
If it's a major infraction or a major lawsuit, you don't want to arbitrate, in my opinion. But at the same time, maybe you do, because, listen, I've been involved in litigation where the attorneys made all the money, and I got really mad. And if I look back after the fact, would I do things differently? I don't know, because emotions get involved, and you're like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going after you. I don't care what it costs. And the homeowner's like, I don't care. Blah, 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 whatever. But most homeowners just want the job done. Most contractors want to do a good job. And then when you're a good contractor, you really are there to do good work. Now, if a mistake happens, you fix it. But when it's a bad contractor, then you got a problem.
Right. And sometimes there are bad property owners and bad homeowners. And part of it is the lack of education, where they think something should have been done differently. They think they know better than the contractor and the city inspector. Other times they just make up stuff, make up reasons not to pay.
Well, I saw it on YouTube, and,
Right.
I saw it on HGTV, and you didn't do it that way.
Right. On HGTV, it took 3 hours to redo the bathroom. What's taking you so long?
What about the line? Let's talk about how long the job takes. So the job and here's the thing. From an expert, my friends who are listening, the home improvement job always takes longer. It does. in your mind, set your mindset and your expectations that this job will take longer. Now, a good contractor, let's use Tom Inger, for example. Renovation by Design out of Rochester, one of the best kitchen and bath contractors around by far. He'll be honest with you. He'll say your cabinets are going to take 8 weeks. The job's going to take another 8 weeks to finish. Whatever it is, he's going to be honest with you. Instead of the one guy, we'll have cabinets in 10 days. We'll get, be out of here 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
Really, dude? Not a chance. So expect it to take longer. Now, when the job takes too long, don't you hear that a lot from homeowners? Oh my God, it took forever. We're 9 months in and he hasn't drywalled.
Right. Well, and then as soon as something goes wrong, whatever it might be, then the homeowner starts thinking up reasons in their mind, other reasons, and tacking things on, and they have they're self-convinced that they just want to be done. They don't trust the contractor any longer. It's not going to work out. So at that point, nothing the contractor is going to say is going to get things back on track, and it's a big mess.
You've broken the trust, basically.
Right.
So here's the key, my friends. There are a couple things we do at Hire It Done that we teach homeowners how to keep the job going. One of them is communication.
Yes.
If you don't establish proper communication with your contractor on a daily basis, then you're going to be doomed, especially on a job that takes longer. Now, when I say daily basis, don't be calling the contractor 17 times a day. However, it's fair to say today that once a day phone call, once a day text, hey, Mrs. Homeowner, guess what? No one's going to be there today. We're waiting on inspection. And the inspector won't be there till tomorrow. So there's nobody there. Then I would rather be a homeowner that heard that instead of going a day without hearing anything.
Sure.
But here's what I do say. If the job is a several-month-long job, if you meet on the job site with the contractor every other week and talk daily, that every other week meeting at the job site allows you to talk about what happened last week, what happened this week, and then what we're planning on for next week. Don't you agree that makes sense?
Yeah. Well, it's all about communication, whatever that might be, whatever you're comfortable with, whether it's every week, every other week, every day. I mean, when people call me, the number one complaint is lack of communication. And they don't know what's going on, and they don't know if it's something reasonable, like you're waiting for materials to come in, you're waiting for an inspection, like you mentioned, you're waiting for a different trade to finish up their portion of it first, whatever the case is. And then, like you said, there's a break in the trust.
That's the best part. So the key is communication. Now, when things go wrong, and there's 1,000 reasons why a project goes wrong, what's the first step a homeowner should do with the contractor when they know they're upset?
Well, again, it's communication. And then if it gets to the point of really you're not getting responses to your phone calls, then you want to send out communications where there's a record of it. And you want to sort of set out the history of what's been going on. I've tried to call you a couple of times. You haven't responded to me. I need to know what's happening. No one's been here for this amount of time. Because in Michigan, under the law, you have an obligation to mitigate your damages. If you're the contractor, if you're the homeowner, you have an opportunity to give the contractor an opportunity to fix things. So you can't just, the first sign of trouble, kick them off the job, because then you're opening yourself up to a lawsuit. You want to give them an opportunity. You want to say, well, I need you to call me. We need to get a satisfactory, mutually agreeable schedule in place, or we need to get you back on the job, or we need to get a timeline for this to be finished. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to have to, insert whatever the issue is. You're going to hire someone else. You're going to bill them. You're going to, whatever it is, you're going to see an attorney.
Makes sense.
But you need to protect yourself, and you need to do it in writing. I can't tell you how many times people come in and say, I wish I had sent text messages or emails or a
that's
fax.
what I want to ask. We're talking with Eric Glick from the Glick Law Firm, and Eric's helping us clarify when you want to fire your contractor, or if you're a contractor, you want to fire your homeowner. Our text messages, emails, as long as it's a paper trail, text messages are now acceptable in court. It's a legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can extract the text messages from the phones, which are more understandable now. 10 years ago, no one knew how to do that. And emails, of course, emails are much more prevalent now. Lots of times you never send paper mail. But as long as there's a record of it, if there's an email, you're going to have a record of it. If it's certified mail, if it's a fax with a confirmation. And in fact, we just had a whole new set of discovery rules that took place in Michigan effective January 1st, which deals with these things, digital, electronic format communications.
Okay.
So yes, they're absolutely allowable.
So if there's the first sign of trouble, whether it's a contractor or homeowner, the first thing you say is to get the paper trail started.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're upset,
You want to
it's
be
better
nice about
communicate.
it, though, right? Because you don't want to turn someone off immediately. If you're going to send that communication, you're going to, you're just going to express your concern. You're not
Understood.
going to make it aggressive. You're
Well,
not going
and a
to.
lot of times people misinterpret text.
That's a problem.
So
That's why people think it takes what takes so long to write a letter. Well, sometimes you really put a lot of effort into it. Every word has meaning. If you're a lawyer, my wife doesn't always understand that.
right.
But sometimes you go back and forth.
Okay, so
and
what if
that's
a
one.
homeowner? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what if a homeowner just doesn't want it? They hire you. As a contractor, I get a lawyer letter.
Uh-huh.
Right away I'm on defense. So even you, when you write a letter, hey, I represent XYZ contract homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
They're upset about the flooring. It's unleveled, and you should be leveling it.
Well, I tend to not be overly aggressive or demanding in that first letter either. And, whether the contractor thinks, whether they get defensive, what they should be thinking is that this is something serious. There's a legitimate concern on the other side. And whether it's a simple lack of communication, whether it's something else, hopefully they're not going to think, okay, I'm going to hire a lawyer. And why would they want their first reaction to be, I'm going to spend a lot of money and hire an attorney? Their first reaction hopefully will be, well, boy, they're serious. There's a real issue here. I didn't take it as seriously as evidently it is. Let's get this resolved.
Right. And the best way to do that is always to resolve it. Don't ever go to court.
No. If you're in court spending that kind of money, then you've pretty much lost right there.
Yeah, that's the problem. So avoid litigation at all costs. It's better to sit down and try and settle it.
It can't always be avoided, but you'd want to try these other means beforehand. We talked earlier about arbitration. There's all kinds of alternative dispute resolution methods. There's mediation, facilitation, arbitration. I spent a great summer at Pepperdine University in Malibu going through their alternative dispute resolution program. But there's lots of ways to do it.
Okay, and that makes sense. I agree with that. So if someone wants to call you, Eric, and get your services, you work with contractors and homeowners.
And residential and commercial.
Perfect.
The law is the same. The law is the law.
EricGlick.com, ERIC Glick, GLICK.com. Phone number is 248-220-1423.
That's right. That's it.
I think an attorney is a necessary evil, like literally, especially in today's society. So everyone's so litigious.
Yeah, well, it's not always about litigation. It's about reviewing that contract in the first place. It's about consulting and knowing your rights and maybe taking that information and handling it yourself. And it's like Patrick Swayze said in the movie Roadhouse, right? You're nice until it's time not to be nice.
Right.
So
better be nice and try and be solving it. I agree with you. Well, Eric, the hour goes so quick, doesn't it?
It does.
I appreciate you coming in today.
It's my pleasure.
We have a new podcast coming out, Contractor Therapy, and it's all about the homeowner and contractor from hell. I'm going to need to share some stories with you on that.
All right.
Get that going. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much. I'll see you all next week. I'm Adam Helfman. This is the Hire It Done Radio Network.